Welcome back, guys. So good to be back on. So we're going to talk about spirituality today. Obviously, we sparked some interest when I was away on holiday around eating meat. So it's brought me to sort of, it was obviously the catalyst, and maybe this information needed to come out. So I've done a sort of channeled message around spirituality and actually what it means. And I wanted to get a more understanding from spirit, obviously doing it through the channeling process, and just sort of give a bit more clarity. Obviously, I've had my own experiences and conversations over the years with them, and understand it for personally for me. But obviously, there's still a lot of misinformation in the New Age movement, which is still causing a lot of strife and struggle. And it sort of talks a little bit about that as well. So just to talk about what's going on at the moment on the planet, a little bit of what emotionally what's going to be happening over the next few months, especially going into Q1 next year. Is going to be a sort of heightened expression of anxiety. The throat chakra and the heart chakra are going to be the two chakras pushing a lot of this emotional energy through. And this is what we call, obviously, ancient trauma, the soul baggage, the subconscious. And of course, the third eye will, if you go into meditation, you've worked on it yourself, you're going to feel a very heavy, intense third eye throbbing. And this is awakening the hypothalamus, which is the physical aspect of the subconscious. So the hypothalamus is going to be opening, and it's going to obviously affect the third eye. And this is also because we are resisting through the throat to see what is subconsciously holding us back. Now, ultimately, the planet is shifting this energy forward. As I've said many times, all souls on the planet, or souls are trying to reconnect with their human selves and awaken them. Because we have to go through, we cannot, any awakened soul, or shall we say unawakened soul, is going to have a hard time over the next few years, because they're not going to understand what's going on inside their bodies, and obviously the emotional body, because nothing can stay suppressed any longer. As we all know, we're moving into this new vibration, everything's changing. So in order for that, we must shift that emotional body. And of course, what's happening now is a lot of people didn't wake up over COVID, and we've had many conversations about that. So there's going to be a push energetically. Not so much, another massive disaster, or has to be, a sort of, worldwide issue to awaken us, although there are other things going on with the shadow at the moment, and obviously rebirthing this new age is bringing up the chaos, which is why we've got so much going on the planet at the moment. But I believe what's happening now is the souls will now push it up individually into their human selves. So we're going to have our own little worlds going on, and how we deal with that, we have to come back to those universal laws, which I've discussed many times. And I'll get a little bit into that as well, because I'm actually doing a webinar this Thursday. I'm going to do a couple more webinars. This is for module 1 from my workshop that's starting in April. I'm just going to talk a little bit about that now. If you can't make this Thursday, I'm going to do another one. I've done this Thursday one because there's people that have already asked to do it. So I've put it aside for them, but I thought, as I'm doing this video today, if anyone wants to jump on, they can. I think it's around 7 o'clock. I'll put the details on the video, but this is Thursday evening. It's only going to be about 45 minutes to an hour. And it'll just explain what we're doing and how we're processing, and everything that, obviously, what the alignment modality offers, but how it can relate to you. And also, obviously it's a channeled modality, so it's from spirit, and they've given it to us in a way where we can uncondition ourselves safely, and come into alignment with our interdimensionality and multidimensionality, including the soul body. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Like I said, I will be doing another webinar in a couple of weeks, probably early January actually, because obviously it's only 2 weeks till Christmas now. So if you do want to come on, just check the videos and check my posts, and all the information will be there. Anyway, coming back to this, the concept of spirituality, obviously it sparked a lot of interest. Like I said, there's a few comments, people that were reading those few comments a few weeks ago. But like I said, we don't want to go into judgment. Obviously, people are still in their conditioning. We want to come out of that duality, that expression of duality now, and the conditioning around certain archetypes, and how we should behave and be, and all the rest of it. So what I might do is I might get into the video in a second, and just coming back to what I was saying about the next few months. It's like I said, throat chakra, but the emotions are going to be sort of despair. There's going to be sort of anger. There's going to be confusion. Despair, confusion, and anxiety are going to be the main ones. Okay, but underneath that, there's going to be a lot of sadness and anger. But this is the soul is doing that to the conditioned human being, because the conditioned human being is not listening. They're still following the narrative that they're told and they believe in, and of course that is going against the universal directive. It's going against the soul, and it's going against our evolution. So obviously there has to be a catalyst for change, and that generally will bring up these deeper emotions to try and awaken them, the human being, and say, look, there's something wrong inside. You need to look within. So the problem here is going to be everyone running to the doctor again, trying to get medication and all the rest of it. But also there's going to be a lot of fear around, because things are going to start manifesting physically. And obviously these next few years, there's going to be a lot of people that will pass, obviously. But again, they've agreed that on the soul level, it's okay. But it just will not be able to resonate in the new frequency. So this is a really important time now to be working on the inner self. Because if you don't do it, everything's going to it's just all going to fall apart, because the construct of the directive for this planet right now is realignment. And if you're out of alignment, you can't move into that new frequency. And to be aligned is you must clear your ancestral line, you must clear your emotional body, and you must allow your soul to move in consciously to your human body and have a very interactive conversation each morning. And then you set intentions, you awaken, and you let go, and you take a step back, and you allow synchronicity to transform itself. And when you're in that space, everything starts to move into your auric field and manifest outwardly, and then life becomes much more simple. And also in the sense that it takes away the fear, the judgment, and the criticism that is blocking us from actually seeing our own worth and that of another human being. We're too much in the critical, judgmental energy. And even the message talks a little bit about that as well. So watch your judgments, watch your criticism, because there is nothing there is no exercise to transform that, because it doesn't exist in the non-physical world. This is something that we've created through misunderstanding our experiences. So let me get into the message, and then we'll go from there. So this is obviously on spirituality and what it means. And I'll talk a little bit about what I was told a few years ago as well, because obviously I brought up the conversation around animals as well. Okay, spirituality. So the first, and this was channeled again by the Viridian consciousness that I work with. So the first aspect of spirituality is the conditioning around the word and the assumptions placed upon it. Too many people are trying to find resonance with something that they already are. It's a conditioning set around healers thousands of years ago, that you must walk a path of duality. If you are going to embrace the gift of healing, we want to discuss the hypocrisy placed on leaders in whatever field on your planet. First, you are all having a human experience of duality, so all must face the shadow, whether you are dealing with depression, addiction, or emotional trauma. You can still thrive in your You can still thrive in your profession. It's the labeling on the planet that has become detrimental. Human beings put too much energy into ideology and control around people's behavior. For example, people in certain positions are judged if they go against the conditioning and perception. Saying you should not do this or that has become the most significant judgment. You are both shadow and light, which is the beauty of this experience. So all leaders are facing their shadow selves. Conditioned human beings judge them without understanding the truth. And it's not just about leaders. It's anyone in a role that has expectations placed upon them. Spirituality is just a word that you have created on earth. You are a soul walking in a human body. That is the universal truth. In its truth, Spirituality is awakening to the understanding of this fact, accepting it, then integrating and surrendering to it. Forcing yourself to become spiritual, striving and struggling to achieve it, is the one thing on the planet causing more stress in the New Age movement than anything else. The idea of eating meat on your planet has been a survival mechanism since day one. Nothing goes against any soul, whether a human, plant, or animal. All animals agree on the soul level for their lives to be taken by a human or another animal. The focus here is to understand what you need individually. You are all spiritual beings, otherwise you wouldn't be on earth. So let's lose the judgment around the duality placed on spirituality. If your body needs protein, you can eat meat. If your body says, I no longer want to eat meat, then you need to listen, and only then will you give it up or minimalize it. The problem on the planet is the need for more gratitude for the life they give up. Awakening in all of you is a deep cellular memory. When you move into the new renaissance of Earth, you will naturally feel lighter, representing your food and what you ingest. And when that time comes, you will adjust your diet appropriately. You must understand you have come here to experience it all in the profundity of the physical world. Limiting yourself through misinformation, which creates belief systems, only harms you. Unfortunately, on the planet, people aren't in alignment with their true feelings, and they speak from the ego, their conditioning. It's important to remember this fact. Don't limit yourself through the mind. If you feel like doing something and you want to try it, then go for it. It's only the judgment of religion and societal programming that limits life. It would help if you remembered you are here to experience a human body and everything it has to offer. It's best not to honor the word spirituality, instead honor the gift of walking in a human suit. When you judge and criticize another, you add restriction to human collective consciousness, holding it in stasis. And this is why evolution is severely inhibited on the planet right now. All this information is available through your feelings, but you must surrender to your soul's presence to fully feel your spirituality. The sacred union of the soul to the human body is the only realization in the present moment. It is the universal directive. So by talking to your souls, you will have a greater understanding of what is right and wrong for you. At this time, spirituality is defined by surrendering your ego and listening to your soul. That is what spirituality means in this present timeline on Earth. It's just a word. Other timelines will understand the word differently. The focus now is to comment on your own life, not someone else's. Look within, not without, and you shall embrace the beauty of this present moment. So, straight to the point, obviously, since I even started working, mainly with the channeling process, 7-8 years ago now. Obviously, been doing healing for decades, but this new stuff that we're bringing through now, they really go on about, obviously inadequacy and criticism, judgment being the most crippling emotions and perceptions that we have here, that really messes us up and stops us from moving into our soul body. So you just got to own criticism, judgment in the moment, and make a decision not to do it. Inadequacy, there are exercises to work around that, because obviously inadequacy has been plaguing humanity for so long, and it's become a very powerful force on the planet, and actually blocks the soul imprinting the third eye, so you can actually take right action. And this is why people get stuck in their heads, because they're not feeling that energy moving up from their solar plexus into their third eye. Obviously the soul emanates from the solar plexus, that's the power center. So when that energy is moving through there, and if it's blocked for inadequacy, that energy just moves around the body and it goes into places that are weakness, or it just disintegrates. So what's happening is it needs to move up to the third eye. So if it's being blocked, you cannot see or feel or experience what your soul is trying to tell you. And that is why we always default to our belief systems and the programming, the conditioning. So like I said, if you want to hear a bit more about the alignment modality, module 1 is starting. Like I said, you come on Thursday onto the webinar. I will be posting more, and we'll be explaining a bit about that. And look, this topic of meat has been coming up for so long. I mean, I lived with a vegetarian once, and I think I cooked something, in a frying pan, and she threw it away. Obviously there's a lot more things going on with her, but at that time she felt that the energy was so powerful not to eat animals. She was so against it, and obviously there was other things going on in her that was propelling her. She had some trauma and all the rest of it, but obviously it didn't give space for conversation. And I think that we all need to find a little bit more space for each other, and just understanding where things are actually coming from. Because when you're too hard-lined or too right or left with certain belief systems, there's obviously something going on inside of you, because you're not allowing your energy to move in oscillation and swing. And this is what's causing so many problems on the planet, and what disease is manifested from unilateral holds in the organs in the body. So when you create oscillation through letting go of that judgment, that criticism, that belief system, because most people don't even understand where these belief systems are coming from. They're feeling it maybe, but that's coming from the trauma. That's coming from something else inside of them. And this is what's really, really important now, if we're going to, obviously shape our society now. Look, the shadow has done its job very, very well on this planet. It's created divide and duality, and it's really imprisoned that energy. So that is what all this chaos is about on the planet now, is breaking up those unilateral holds. We cannot see it because our human eyes perceive it as trauma. They see it as chaos. And yes, of course, loads of people are dying. Loads of people are sick and ill, and all the rest of it, and all the wars. I mean, it's horrific, obviously. But ultimately, we've done this hundreds of times on the planet, and that's why the Matrix movie was defined the present moment very well. I think when you even went in, he said you're the 46th person to do this, and that is just showing us that we are, every time we come into this new age movement or this new cycle, this time it will shift. The Spirit has been very, very clear about that. The earth, because the earth has an evolution, and the earth is not going to stay in this place any longer. And obviously we are guests on this planet, so we will be moving with that shift. But this is way beyond the human being. This is planetary stuff. This is beings of other dimensions as well, all involved here. So there's a lot of things going on that we're unaware of. So the best thing you can do for yourself and the planet is work on yourself individually. And they're really pushing this message at the moment. There's going to be a lot more channeling coming through next year. I'll be doing a lot more videos because we need to stay on top of it, because things are going to be changing every few weeks, and there's going to be a torrent of emotional trauma coming up in a lot of people that are not working on themselves. So even if you're working on yourself now is the time to do it, because your soul is there, it's right there, it's literally in your face, and it's saying, let's do it. So, there's no time like the present to just crack on, because this is a really important time. There is going to be a lot more chaos on the planet for at least another 2 years. I don't think it's going to start till at least 2025, early 2026. But that is okay, because you have to, like I said, you have to go through the shadow before you come back into the light. And of course, all of this chaos is rebirth at the end of the day, and it's the earth releasing her trauma, and don't forget, we've been abusing this planet for a long time, so we're going to have the effects of that as well. But also, the earth is a mirror of us, we're a mirror of her. It's all in sync, and we just have to elevate our consciousness out of what we see on the news and the TV, because that's actually what pulls us back into the trauma. And like I've said before, and I say it again, if anything triggers you, whether it's the newspaper, you hear something down the street, a conversation, the news on TV, if it triggers fear, panic, anger, whatever the emotion it's triggering you, that's yours. It's nothing to do with the story on the TV or the newspaper. That's your emotion. So you need to deal with that in the moment. It's not about the story. So you're going to have many triggers and your human mind will attach to it. It'll play out its scenario. Oh, they did this, they're horrible, blah blah blah, I'm angry about that. No, it's your anger inside. There's something else going on inside of you, your subconscious, so you need to deal with that. And spirit will work through you any way they can. They will leave, like I said, the old coins and feathers remarks. You'll hear, you'll walk past people and they'll say something. I'll go, oh my God, that's the answer to what I need to know. And you're complete strangers. They're always going to communicate with whatever means they can. So you need to be listening. So really set that intention in the morning. So you just surrender, say to your soul, I'm going to surrender today. Whatever you need to teach me, whatever you need to show me, make it very clear. I'm ready to listen. And then you have to set that intention, because the mind is going to try and control everything. Again, it's going to focus on what it needs to do for that day. But that's the trick. That's the trick. And that's another thing about spirituality, is about listening and being still and present. Because there's so much information that's moving onto the planet at the moment. And for you to receive that, you have to be still. And you have to be breathing, and this is why obviously yoga and breathing techniques have been paramount for success in accessing non-physical energies since we've been here. It's all done through the breath and just being present. So that's really, really important. So just take time to get into that practice as well. All right, guys, so thank you very much. I'll be doing another video again. I'm not sure I'll do one before Christmas, but we will definitely do one for the new year. And I'll be doing a channeling for the outlook for 2024 as well. All right, guys, take care. I will see you all again. And yeah, if the link's on there, I'm going to post it on the video. This video will also be on Instagram as well, and on my main feed. And yeah, come on if you want. And I'll speak to you soon. And yeah, if you are going to come on this Thursday, just email me. I'll put the email address on there because I'm only going to take about 10 people. I think there's already 5 or 6 on there. But just email me anyway. And if it feels right, we'll put you on this one. If not, the next one. And we'll go from there. All right, guys. Thank you very much. All the best.